Update: wife, F33, and I, M34, decided to try 4 kids last year. Found out I'm completely infertile without surgery. 5 months later she got pregnant. There is a paternity test called non-invasive prenatal paternity (NIP) that can check paternity before the baby is born. It includes taking your wife's blood, fetal DNA can be separated and tested, and your blood. She can get her blood taken first, and then you could go a little later. You don't have to have it done at the same time. I only thought of this because it cost around $1,700 to get it done. This is what I thought of. That they could get the NIP test now and maybe she moved the money for the test, but it's suspicious she's not telling him and booking an appointment without his involvement. It's stacking up against her favor. I hate to be that optimistic person because things are starting to look bad here, but what if that time slot was the only one the doctors had? Booking within a week at my OB, if it wasn't an emergency, was basically impossible. The moving the money is scary though. Maybe she wants to get the paternity test out of the way since her husband is acting weird. I hope this guy has a good outcome. The trouble is that she's not communicating any of this to him. There is no way I would not tell my husband if I needed $1,700 for something, unless I was trying to hide something. As well as scheduling an appointment that we both were to go to together. As soon as I made the appointment I would have told him. Sad to say this isn't looking good. But I, too, hope this has a better outcome than what it looks like. The weird thing is it was taken out of the joint account. That's not hiding it. Also $3,400 in a joint account doesn't seem like much money for people that work in it and marketing, so they probably have sizable personal accounts. Not sure how much marketing makes. But I work in it and make over $5K a month. So $3,400 in a joint account makes me think it's just where they pull their money for monthly expenses. If she wanted to hide it, she'd use her personal account. Yes. And since we haven't heard from her, everything is speculation. And since we tend to think of the worst scenarios, here we are making assumptions on her honesty and loyalty. It will be interesting to see how this all shakes out. TBH. If I was her I might be getting annoyed at this point. Especially if I didn't cheat. Here I'm pregnant with my first child. My body is going to change drastically and forever, and I don't exactly know what to expect. Instead of getting happiness and support from my husband I go through not one would be fine, but several conversations on him thinking about him and that I cheated. So I feel like I might act weird towards him at this point too. Honestly nothing sounds that sketchy to me. He may be right, he may not be, but I think he may benefit from therapy or something to help him cope aside from constantly asking her. If her answers don't change, and he keeps asking and being hypersensitive to certain things, that's not going to bode well. This morning she moved half of it to hers. About $1,700. We don't do that. She's never needed to before. Everything else could just be your own anxiety, but this is something concrete. What's confusing to me is why you're stressing about bringing this up without it being the same conversation. When the money thing is clearly a different conversation, how come you've moved half of the joint account to your own account? A perfectly simple question that should have a perfectly simple answer. And there's zero reason not to just ask that question. Edit, as this blow up? Another question. Namely, why not tell you about it beforehand? Because she must know that you'd notice it. And she must know that you'd have some questions. This isn't a few dollars going missing. It's half the account. Which is suspiciously precise. And surely significant that she'd move it. Knowing you'd spot it. But not give you a heads up regardless. Knowing you'd wonder what was up. Just texted her. You got any sick time? Call in sick on the day of the appointment and go anyway. She technically already kinda agreed to go together, so make it so. She can't argue with that. I wouldn't want to surprise her. But I think I might wait until she's home and mention I can take off and see what she says. Solid plan. Honestly I hope it ends up just being a misunderstanding for your sake. But it's better to be sure. And it's not as though you're being unreasonable. Thank you. I'm trying to get all my uncertainty out here to make sure I don't act just on fear. I'm a little uneasy how popular the post got though, even though she rarely uses Reddit. I'll probably have to take this down eventually. Checked your comments. This one is so recent you have to be here. Any updates fam? She's most likely in a meeting right now. She'll be on break in an hour. If she hasn't called me by then, I'll be calling her. Mate, I know it has been said, but you have to know this, whatever happens. No matter how it may feel now, you will be okay, and you will be 100% happy again in a relatively short space of time. It's a scientific fact that after a person suffers a great emotional situation, even worse than infidelity, their happiness level returns to previous baseline within only a few months. Be at peace whatever. And no, we are all wishing you happiness bud. Citation needed. Bob Marley. 3 little bads don't worry about a thing cause every little thing gonna be alright. I love you. 1. Ask her why she took the $1,700. Semicolon. 2. Ask her why she chose that day for the appointment. Semicolon. 3. Ask her to move the appointment to a day you can go. Semicolon. 4. You don't need to wait 9 months to get your peace of mind. Ask her if she's willing to do a non-invasive prenatal paternity test which she can do at 7 weeks of gestation and the results can take only 3 days to arrive. That weird feeling of yours could be just your head playing tricks. Given your history of being cheated on and the fact that science is telling you that you shouldn't have made her pregnant, she should be nothing but understanding for your anxiety. Which could be why she wasn't angry at you being suspicious. And why she may be fine with the prenatal paternity test. If she has nothing to hide, the sooner you both put these doubt past you the better. Just FYI. Op. Ravgen is the best company for prenatal paternity test. They are the lab that invented the test. All companies charge about 1k, but they were very professional and straightforward and super easy to deal with. 1k? Jesus, suddenly it's an actual decision to get a paternity test. That $1. 000 would be money well spent. Because if he signs the birth certificate, he's fucked for hundreds of thousands and 18+ years. As always, check your state law. But in most jurisdictions, 1. Signing or not signing doesn't matter if you're married, you're the presumed father. 2. You have a statutory timeline to contest paternity after being the presumed father. Usually a year or 2. Check your state though. You have 6 months in my country to contest paternity if you are married. After that it's your kid forever. 1 year if not married. In utero paternity testing is a thing. It costs about $1,700. Best case, she's getting a in utero pat test as surprise for Op to settle his anxiety. That would be super good news. Ag had to scroll way too much past depressive comments to find this. Hope this is it. Using half our savings to surprise me with a test without discussing it at all is still a red flag. I read your op, and at the time, hoped the outcome would be optimistic, and that this miracle had happened. Given how happy and unsuspicious your wife seemed to be. However, this now sounds really fishy. In particular, your wife transferring a significant amount of money into her own account and the sneakiness of her making a doctor's appointment when you wouldn't be able to make it. You need to talk with her about this and her reasons for doing so. But unfortunately, it does seem like your wife could be up to no good. I'll be honest. I think she moved half the money because she is getting ready to leave him. Either because she did cheat and she thinks S is going to hit the fan. Or because she didn't cheat and she's over his insecurity issues. Or she thinks he's gonna leave her because of insecurity. I think this one's correct. Op seems to be on edge as F and she may be concerned that has going to bounce. Can anyone give me a good basic script for what to say when I call her in an hour? Hi honey. I was looking at our medical portal to see when might be a good day for an appointment, but noticed that you've booked it for Thursday. That's okay. I'll take some vacation and come along. It's too important to be close to you for that appointment. / chat about other stuff briefly. Then BTW. I noticed you moved $1,700 out of our joint account. Was that for the appointment, or did I miss something? Gonna use this. Thank you. Got any more of them? Updates. https://i1 sndcdn com/artworks 000216882125 4i1 mb3t500x500 jpg. These threads are always better once the dust has settled.